YouTube, it's your boy Estefanos, and I'm back with a new video. Something I've just been wondering is that, man, I haven't really been uploading a lot, simply because of personal reasons, but man, I need to get back to uploading again. Yeah. But yeah, today's video, I think it's been long overdue, since I talked about, as you guys know, I love Invincible, and they're some of my best videos. So I decided to finally, why not just upload a video on Invincible Season 4. As I talked about the teaser, might as well talk about the overall season and my pros and cons. But yeah, man, I was so excited for Season 4 because Seasons 1, 2, and 3, goated. When I mean by goated, I legit rewatched these episodes a lot. I legit now I like to watch people's reactions. And I've already talked about how I love these characters, and I've made video essays on Mark, Nolan, and a handful of other characters. But yeah, Season 4, man. So Season 4 takes place after the end of Season 3, the Invincible War, and of course the Conquest fight. By the way, spoiler warning, if you guys haven't seen Invincible Seasons 4 or Seasons 1, 2, and 3, scroll away and go watch the show and come back and share your opinions. But anyways, Season 4 basically is going to tackle with Mark going into a more darker place. At the end of Season 3, he made a promise that no matter what happens, if anyone hurts his family, he would take action and kill them. And a lot of us were worried going to Season 4 what was going to happen. And so the first half of Season 4 focuses on Mark and the aftermath of the Invincible War and the Conquest fight. And it's not just Mark, it's everyone, Eve, Debbie, Oliver, the Guardians, Cecil, Donald, you name it. And of course Mark, he feels like he's at his lowest point because he spent most of Season 3 trying to preach that heroes don't kill. But after what happened with Angstrom and Conquest, he now is willing to do whatever it takes. And so, what I like about this season is that it feels flipped to how Season 3 was. During Season 3, a lot of people were split because Mark and Cecil were at odds about how to handle threats. Cecil believes in redemption, rehabilitation, using criminals in order to save the world. As his quote, "You can be the good guy or the guy who saves the world." Whilst Mark believes heroes don't work with criminals. Criminals are bad. They should be locked up and shouldn't be given second chances. And it's this season, however. So at the end of episode 1, when Mark and the Guardians are fighting off the Sequids that have their third invasion, I believe. And then this host, who's been the same host for the last couple of seasons, Russ Livingston, the astronaut from Season 1 that got infected because of Shapesmith, Mark decides to kill him in order to save the world. And of course, this is shocking because before Mark would have never made that decision. But it's everyone is shocked and horrified by what Mark did because he killed an innocent man who was mind controlled. And of course, the heroes are conflicted, especially Cecil. Cecil is worried that Mark is going to turn out like Nolan, where he's going to start if he keeps making decisions who deserves to live or die, then he's going to become more like his father. And also Robot, Rudy, I am not calling him Rex, by the way, believes that Mark could have waited for the dome to hold for a bit so they can get the disruptor to Russ and free him of the Sequids. But the dome was at 1%, so don't know if it could have broken or held. And so everyone is debating whether or not Mark is right. And what I like is that last season, everyone was more so on Cecil's side, but surprisingly, everybody's on Mark's side. And as you all know, I am a big Mark defender. I know he doesn't make the right choices all the time, but he does his best. And I love how it's not just Mark, but this episode 1 focuses a lot on Eve, Oliver, Debbie, the Guardians. It's not just Mark. That's what I love most about this show. And it's not just Mark. Eve is also going through some things with her powers acting up, all of that. And and we also get Dinosaurus, which I'm excited because I am not looking forward to what the stuff that he's gonna put Mark through, but yeah, and then we also cut back to space to see Nolan and Alan, which last season we didn't see much of them, and then we learned that the Viltrumites numbers were so down because of the Scourge virus that was made to specifically attack DNA of Viltrumites, and basically it killed at least 99% of their population. And I like how, just like last season, this sparked up a huge debate if the Viltrumites deserved genocide, essentially. Of course, because they're the villains, everyone's going to say they deserved it. Now, it's a tough thing, whereas, like, I don't know. For me, it's like, yes, but, like, extinction is, like... But I just love how... And this is why I love the show. The writing is so nuanced. It's not just black and white in it. Especially with this season. And I love how Nolan is actually like rationalizing that he's helping finish off his species because he believed in the cause that his people were sent by the Emperor Argol and that they would make the universe a better place. And I love how Alan is there for Nolan, but also to ground him. Like, no, of course we all love Alan, the jokester. But man, but when Nolan found out that Thetis, the leader of the coalition, was the one who created the Scourge virus and killed Argo, bro, if this was season 1 Nolan Grayson, he would have been decapitated. And that's like Nolan's true motive to go back to Earth, because he wants to protect Mark and Oliver. And it's like, I like how even though we haven't had like Nolan be like in as much, like he was in season 2 and 3, but I feel like out of all the seasons, season 3 we had him the least amount. Like, he was mentioned on Earth, but like in episodes, he only appeared at the end of episode 1 and like the second half of episode 4 of season 3. And in season 2 we saw him in an alternate dimension thanks to Angstrom taking over that universe's Earth. Then we saw him at the end of episode 3 of season 2 and episode 4 and episode 6 and episode 8. Season 1 is like, of course, the only season where he's been in every single episode. But it's like, whenever we do check up on him, we do see that he's changing. It's not like he changed instantly and he's on our side. He's changing and he's like contemplating his emotions. Why do I feel this way? I am a Viltrumite. I shouldn't be feeling this way. These beings are nothing to me. They're insects, specks of dust. They're pets to me, like he said to Debbie. But I like how it's similar to how humans view bugs when this came to the Thraxans. Because, like on Earth, we view bugs as like beneath us. They're nothing. And I like how it gives that perspective, you know what I mean? Because it's the Thraxans are the opposite of Viltrumites, where the Viltrumites can live forever. Thraxans only live for about 9 months, like it's like a year, and they die of old age. Similar to the Flaxans, like the green aliens from season 1, that also appeared this season. So, and it's like, and I can't wait to talk about Nolan and Debbie's reunion in episode 5. And then we get the Hell storyline. Everybody really hates the Hell storyline, and I will admit, at first I didn't like it, but like, it's not the worst episode. I feel like people really like hate on this episode because they were expecting like a huge like something huge to happen, and we all did. I'm not saying it's like where I really come from with like episodes. No, I'm saying it's like it deserves to be like a 7 out of 10 because it's still pretty good, and it's like it does a lot of character development for Mark. It's like he realizes that sometimes you have to pick between the lessers of two evil, and that you sometimes have to get your hands dirty. And I like how Art, the tailor, in the beginning, tells Mark that if he was like his dad, he wouldn't be so guilty. The fact that he cares so much about the lives that have been taken, shows he's not his father, and he never is gonna be. That's what I love about Mark. People really like to downplay Mark's emotions because to them it feels repetitive of him constantly feeling down that he did something he wasn't proud of. And I will admit, because we binge these episodes, it's gonna feel annoying. But you have to admit, if Mark, you'd rather have a Mark that is actually feeling bad than a Mark that is so quick to be killing like his dad. And then we also get Titan. And man, Titan. I like Titan, fellow brother. But this guy, this is the third time he's called Invincible, resolving stuff involving the Order. Last season, it was because he wanted to break Multipole out so the Order would leave his family alone. But this season, Mr. Liu, the dragon guy, he wants vengeance because he blames Titan for getting Machine Head in his position. And now he sent a bootleg Shredder, Magnet Attack, to kill his family. And then he calls for Invincible, but because Mark is still reeling from what he did to Russ, they sent Oliver. And then it's like Mark from season 1, but now it's Oliver. And I love that. And I knew that something like this was going to happen because everybody was saying that Mark did a disservice for his company, him and Eve's company, for beating Titan up. But you have to admit, Titan deserved that beating. I'm sorry. This dude has played Mark how many times? Almost got him killed twice. And like Titan said the Magnet Attack, Mark says the same thing. You'll never mess with my family. You don't mess with my family. And it's like, I get where Titan's coming from, but this is the third time you've done this. And that's the reason why he ends up at the Order at the end of the episode. And I don't blame him. I don't. Because you keep doing this. And of course we have Eve's pregnancy. But man, I felt so bad because it makes sense because of her and Mark getting busy after they started dating in season 3. But man, her powers were on the threads. They were acting up. And she couldn't fight. That's the scary part. And yes, Eve didn't get as much development this season, but when she was on screen, it still felt great. And I'm happy. I'm glad they didn't just push to the side. People will say that Mark and Eve's relationship is boring now, and that Eve is just his girlfriend. But it's like, this is how healthy relationships are, and it's like, that's what I like about Invincible. It doesn't fall under the trope of like relationship drama. You could say with Mark and Amber, but this is better. I'd rather have this than season 1 Amber. But yeah. And of course, I can't forget about Conquest escaping at the end of episode 1, which we all knew was going to happen because Cecil let him alive after the season 3 finale. But man. And I love how when Nolan came back to Earth and him and Debbie reconnected, no one was giving Nolan grace. Everyone was treating him and he deserved it because he killed so many people. I was so worried they were going to do the typical cartoon route where everyone just forgives you for apologizing. No, they actually kept it grounded. They kept it realistic, and I love that. And that even though Nolan said he was sorry to Debbie, this was all just a hoax. This was fake. So you don't blame her because how could I trust you after what you did? And the actress, she deserves all the flowers, all the awards for her acting. Chef's kiss. And Oliver, being upset that his father came to only see his brother and not him, and called his mom a mistake, and basically called him a mistake, is wild. And I love how they actually addressed it again. And I like how they changed things from the comics. And it's like, I'm so happy that Mark got a rematch with Conquest, because Conquest and everyone else online was saying that the only reason Mark won was because of Eve. But Mark did injure Conquest a lot. You can't deny that. He made him bleed, destroyed his arm. You got to give him that. But this time, Mark killed him on his own. And I'm sorry, but the first time I saw the episode, I was eating pasta. I don't know why I ate pasta after that. But yeah, it made me, yeah. And like I said, it only gets worse from here. But yeah. And I like how people, and it's funny because everyone was saying, including myself, that whew, there's a worse one than Conquest, and even I'm like, the fact that there's one person that's worse than Conquest is crazy. And then we meet him in episode 2 of this season. Grand Regent Thrag. And this man is clean and terrifying. Everyone was calling this man a fraud right before he threw his first punch. And I know it's because he ran away, stayed indoors with his skull. But man, when we get to him, everyone was silent. And I love how the Viltrumite War was the forefront this season. And it's like, it deserves its own video, but man, I just love how this season made Mark really come to terms of what he meant last season. Is that you have to do what you have to do in order to keep the planet safe. He basically made a deal with the devil like Cecil. Such peak writing. And it's like, I could go on and on, but this video would be too long. But yeah, next video is probably going to be about the Viltrumite War itself. And of course, Grand Regent Thrag. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and comment down below. And yeah, share who's your favorite character in Invincible. Comment down below and let's have a discussion. And peace.